Now that you have prepared your fabric by ironing it and creating the fold is opposite of the selvage edges, we are ready to lay out our pattern. And what you need for this is your shears, a marking tool, whether it is the chalk or a pencil, and some pins. You'll also need one apron base and one apron strap pattern. When we are looking at patterns, we need to make sure we read the labels that are on the patterns. If you see, this actually says fold with some arrows, and then it says do not cut. We created this fold on purpose because we want this pattern to be on the fold. If you look right here, the fabric will be folded in half, and so actually this pattern is only half of your apron. Okay, so we will unfold it, and hopefully you'll have a fold here and not two extra pieces of fabric. So when you lay it out, you're going to line up the fold, and we are going to make sure that this edge is lined up. You can see wherever they bought this fabric that it wasn't cut super straight. So we do want to make sure that this pattern lines up. And we don't want to go ahead and cut, but because we also have to cut another apron base down here. So we want to make sure that 2 is actually going to fit. And it is going to be tight. If you find that you cannot fit both of yours perfectly, I would talk to your teacher on how to adjust the bottom length of your apron to make sure that both pieces of the apron base will fit on here. Once you have seen that they both fit, I would go ahead and start pinning. You will probably not take too much time pinning these patterns. I would say you'd need one here, maybe 2 or 3, maybe 1, 2, 3 down here, and a couple this way. You're not pinning to sew, you're just pinning so you can trace. You will also be laying out your apron strap, and when deciding how to lay out your fabric, you want to make sure that you are saving as much fabric as you can in case you want to make a pocket or a ruffle, or just save some of your fabric. So I would choose to put my strap here, and we actually need 4 straps, but because the fabric is folded in half, by cutting this piece and not having it on a fold, you're actually going to create 2 straps. In the directions it tells you to cut 3. So this one you really would only need to cut on one side of the fabric, so you'd kind of unfold it, maybe you'd go like this and just cut it out of here. Okay, or you may choose to cut 4 and just have an extra in case you mess up. Or you could use 2 apron neck ties, and so it would be stationary if you just had 3, or you could tie it behind your neck. So with that 4th one. Now that you have decided how to lay out your patterns and that you can see that they're going to fit on your fabric, you're going to continue pinning around your fabric or around the patterns to make sure they just stay in place. On these straps I would put 1 on each corner or something, pins. And then you're going to take your marking tool and you are going to trace all the way around your pieces. And then down here we are showing you 2 bases, and we're also showing you 2 straps, but really in class you probably will only be able to have 1 strap pattern and 1 apron base. And so then you will trace all of these, and then you will take this off and you will move it over and trace it again before cutting. You will also unpin this one once you have traced, and you will move it down here and trace it again. That way everyone in class can have a chance to have the patterns. And when you are actually making something from a pattern at a store, they will only give you one piece anyways, and you have to pay attention in the patterns when it tells you how many of something to cut. So after you've traced everything, you would use your shears, carefully cutting. Once you have removed these patterns, there will be all this blue chalk on here. You'd use your shears, make sure you have the really, really sharp ones. If you don't, find a different pair. And continue cutting until you're done with cutting out all your pieces.